This is Positive Moments with Jean Walters Lucy, personal growth consultant, teacher, author, and lecturer. Hello again, everybody. I'm Richard Miller, and welcome to Positive Moments, now entering its second year of production. And today's show is entitled Effortless Ease, and helping us ease into things is Jean Walters Lucy. Hello, Jean.
Hi, thank you, Rich. Nothing in the world is more yielding and gentle than water. At the same time, nothing is more powerful than water. Water has no equal in conquering, overcoming, or wearing down resistance. When a stream meets an obstacle in its path, it doesn't fight, struggle, or even contemplate it. It basically gives it no attention, and it simply flows around it. The stream does this without stress or concern. In fact, it sings as it flows past the obstacle. Water provides a perfect example of effortless action. We can apply this metaphor daily. As you face the challenges in your life, think about water. Consistent wearing away at an obstacle often wins out, as does changing course. And while you are in the process of wearing down your obstacle, don't forget to sing your song. In other words, enjoy the process. For example, if you are traveling from St. Louis to Texas and you run into a detour, you have some choices. You can cancel your trip or find another route or mode of transportation. If you're driving, you can fly. If one highway is closed, there are other roads and thoroughfares that will get you there. Furthermore, reassessing your options can be accomplished without losing your cool. In fact, you can enjoy the entire maneuver by considering it an opportunity to discover new territory. There is a Chinese story that further explains effortless action or effortless ease. It is about a horse that was tied outside a shop in a narrow Chinese village street. Whenever anyone tried to walk past, the horse would kick him. After a while, a crowd of people gathered and began debating on what was the best way to get by the dangerous horse. Soon someone came running, announcing, "The old master is coming. He'll know what to do." The crowd waited anxiously. As the old master turned the corner, he saw the horse and immediately spun around to walk down another street. The old master had learned the lesson of water and moved with effortless ease. Now, how can you put this principle of effortless ease in your life? What have you been making harder than it needs to be? What are the obstacles you need to flow around? This is Jean Walters Lucy, personal growth consultant, and I would love to hear from you. If you have a comment or question about positive moments, please feel free to contact me through my website at spiritualtransformation.com or call me at 314-991-8439.
Jean, our first caller for today's Positive Moments is Irene.
Irene, thank you so much for taking the time to call us. What can I help you with?
Well, I've noticed that whatever I do, it never seems to feel good enough. I think this is another way to make things more difficult than they have to be. This is a major issue of mine, and I've been working on it for a long time. Do you have any ideas on how to work around this?
Okay, well, it basically does sound like if it never feels good enough, that you never feel quite good enough, that maybe you're very hard on yourself. Maybe you're very critical. Maybe there's a perfectionistic quality here or attitude, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. You own that up pretty readily,
Right.
didn't you? Well, it is a problem for many people to be very perfectionistic, and no matter what they do, if they make toast, it's not quite right,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of what we want to learn is from life is that whatever we give, whatever we do at that moment, it is just fine. If I make toast and I just do my best shot with it, then I'm not allowed to criticize it because I've already given my best. And so whatever it turns out to be is just fine. And I think that just recognizing that in every moment we really are doing the best we can in that moment is very important to being at peace with ourselves and just loving who we are. I think most people, and I include myself, when we have this idea of not good enough, never good enough, never quite enough, we were raised more than likely we had a lot of critical people around us, and so we learned that. Yeah, does that fit?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and so then you kind of took that on, that you always have to be scrutinizing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and just the other way to do it is to accept whatever your effort is at any given moment, and that's the best you have at that moment, and you're just not allowed to criticize yourself.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
And Rich had a thought earlier where he was saying that oftentimes when you're criticizing yourself, you're also criticizing a lot of other people too. You tend to look at people with a critical eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might want to pay attention to that, and then catch yourself, and then just find something good.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has something good. I used to say, oh well, they probably love their mother. And that was like my default button. But there's always good, and if you're willing to find it, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a thought, Rich?
Well, Jean, you turned me onto the book The Four Agreements by
Yes.
Miguel Ruiz, and one of the things is try not to judge and try not to make assumptions about things and people, and that takes a lot of practice.
Yes.
But you see somebody doing something, and you start to think, oh, that dolt or that idiot or something, or you think, oh, they're doing it, but you got to stop and say, well, I may not necessarily know what it is they're doing or what their situation is. And when you start being, as you suggested, less critical of other people, and you strive for more understanding for others, you also grant that to yourself. That's a benefit.
It works across the board. You're right. And even if I started doing this, like telling myself stories, like, well, that person is driving really fast and driving, kind of carelessly because they're on the way to the hospital and they've got a sick relative and they have to get there right away, and I just want to cooperate and get out of their way, and I would do things like that because that helped me to just release the situation and then not have to think bad thoughts about somebody. And so that's how I began my practice, to just let it go. I don't know, would something that fundamental work for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Well, Irene, thank you so much for calling today.
Great.
I hope we answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Jean, the other day somebody was relating to me a story of what they thought was road rage. It may have been somebody was stopped at a stoplight. The person behind them was honking because they didn't leave when the light
Immediately, huh?
Right, and the woman honked her horn quite a bit. The man in front got out of the car and started to walk back. And the woman, fearing, unpleasantness, yes, took off. And my friend regarded all this and took it as a case of road rage, which it may have been. Mm-hmm. But I said, well, maybe his car was
exactly.
stalled.
That's the thought I had.
And he was coming back to say, hey, do you have a cell phone? Could you call?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to,
beat her up,
throttle her or anything. He was just going to say, hey, I am having trouble.
It's a good example of the way we've been conditioned to expect horrible things to happen.
And we jump to conclusions, and then we act on them before stopping to think, well, maybe.
Yes, maybe there's actually something going on here that I can be of help with, or I certainly don't have to look at this person as this mean, horrible guy. I can at least reserve judgment until I see what's going on a little bit more. And, I think that would be a wonderful thing if we just reserved judgment, because maybe we'd never have to get to judgment at all if we did that.
There's a movie that was shown to me at some seminar I went to one time. Maybe some of you out there have seen this movie. It's two motorists coming down country lane, and they're coming around a blind bend. The one person is just approaching it, and the person drives by them. He's in this sports car, and he yells out, "Pig!" And the person's thinking, call me a pig, and it'd get all, and then she went around a corner and almost ran into a pig that was standing in the middle of the road.
And so you think that he might have been warning her.
He was warning her rather than calling her a pig.
Isn't that amazing how quickly, though, our minds will immediately go to the negative? It's just so amazing how we've been conditioned to think in a low energy way of fear. Come from fear all the time, come from what's bad, what's wrong. And it's just, gives us something to work toward.
And sometimes you're fully prepared to act under that assumption,
yes.
too. If maybe the person had stopped, you don't run back. What do you mean calling me a pig? You're a pig.
And that's possible, too. I don't know.
Well, Jean, our next caller is Laurie.
Laurie, thank you for calling. Did you have a comment or thought for us today?
Hi, Jean. I have a question.
Oh, good.
And one of my problems is that I struggle with imperfection. And I know that, but what happens to me is when things don't go perfect that I planned, and if I've invested a lot of my money or my time on doing something and it doesn't go right, I get so upset about it, and then it like consumes me, and it becomes like my focus of the day, and I can't let go of it, and then I just start beating myself up, and I just don't know what to do.
Well, I have one question to ask you back, okay? Is your peace more important, your peace, state of mind, more important, or your money or the event?
Well, of course, I think rationally that my peace of mind is the most important.
Okay, but now that you've made that connection and you made that the goal, then it requires that you look at events differently and also that you look at money differently. Because what you're doing, what the way you described it is that you're giving up your peace of mind because the money, what you spent was more important, or the event was more important. And I think that, now that, you can look at those things and you can say, okay, wait a minute, am I willing to give up my peace of mind here? Now, we all, Laurie, we were all trained to think that money was the big deal. That you have to work for money, and we have not been taught that you have to work for peace of mind. And so this is just a new idea to think in terms of, I want peace of mind first, and if you have peace of mind, if you really honor that and make that number one most important thing, then you begin to look at everything differently. Okay, well, I probably did overspend, and I'll make a correction for next time, or maybe I didn't overspend. Maybe that was really well spent money. Or money keeps coming in too. So if I overspent this time, well, okay, I'm going to accept that about myself and keep moving on and keep looking at all the opportunities to have more money tomorrow. And we can do that, or we can spend our time just beating ourselves up. And it's not really hard at all to find something to beat yourself up about,
Right.
So, the hair's not right or whatever. We can always find something. So it's not particularly creative. What do you think?
I think you're right. I guess I just have to switch the focus of how it's not that important, really. The thing that I'm upset about is usually something that is monetary or, that isn't really as important as me.
It's not as important as you, for sure. And we can really make money the god and think that there's only so much. And therefore, if I spend too much today, it's horrible because I won't have more tomorrow. And that is really, really fear-based thinking, and it's not true. Because there's plenty of everything, including money. You'll never run out. Rich had a thought.
Yes, a definite one. In your search for peace of mind, don't make the mistake in thinking that money can get you peace of mind.
That's good. You said
Right.
it very succinctly. What do you think?
I think you guys are right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm switching my focus.
All right. Good. Have a wonderful day then. I appreciate you calling.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, that is one big thing that so many people make the mistake. They think that money will get them, can change their lives, and it can, but it doesn't necessarily. It's not the panacea that some people think it.
Well, you can, and I heard something the other day that really geniuses, people who are very brilliant, live very, very simple lives. That they do it on purpose because they don't want to be all fettered with a lot of things and events and things. They want to keep their focus very simple because that opens their mind and it allows their genius to come through. And then they can be great artists, or they can be great technicians, or they can be great inventors, or whatever it is. So I thought that was an interesting point, because many times we think having the Mercedes is the most important thing. But if you look at people who are really made it big as far as their genius, then, they don't live that way.
Thank you, Jean. And today's show was called Effortless Ease. And this is Positive Moments with Jean Walters Lucy. Thank you, Jean.
Thanks.
This has been Positive Moments with Jean Walters Lucy, personal growth consultant, teacher, author, and lecturer. If you have comments or questions on any personal growth subject like universal law, dream interpretation, intuition, self-esteem, or self-empowerment, you can reach Jean at her website, www.spiritualtransformation.com, or call 314-991-8439 and leave a message. 314-991-8439. I'm Richard Miller, and we'll see you for your next Positive Moment.